Shabbos, everyone. This week's Parsha is out of Sh'mini. Parshas Sh'mini, we have the 8th day of the dedication of the tabernacle. It was on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And Moshe Rabbeinu says to Aharon that now, Aharon, this is when you begin your service. You will perform all of the activities of a Kohen, because during the previous 7 days, Moshe Rabbeinu functioned as a Kohen and was bringing the offerings. Now, Aharon, you will do so on behalf of yourself, on behalf of all of Klal Yisrael. And Aaron does so. And he brings his sin offering, he brings his burnt offering, he brings the offerings on behalf of Klal Yisrael, and he does everything with incredible detail and devotion unto Hashem. And then as he finishes, he lifts his hands unto Klal Yisrael and expresses his heartfelt bracha. And then it says that Moshe and Aaron enter into the Ohel Moed, into the inner area, and they come out and they bless Klal Yisrael together. Rashi questions and says that what was the purpose of Moshe going in with Aaron now into the area of the holies? And Rashi brings one of the commentaries that when Aaron saw that he had brought all of the offerings on behalf of Klal Yisrael and did everything that was required of him, and yet the divine presence was not made known unto Klal Yisrael, Aaron had great tsar. He was very distressed. And he said, I know that God is angry with me, and it is because of me that his divine presence has not been revealed unto Klal Yisrael. Because of I am not worthy, and because of my participation in the golden calf, even though Aharon had no intention of a golden calf. Aaron's intentions were purely for the sake of sanctifying Hashem's name. Nevertheless, he felt unworthy. And he said, Moshe, my brother, this is what you have done to me, that I have come, entered into the kahuna, the nizbayashti, and I have been humiliated. All of Klal Yisrael, can we imagine? We stood at Sinai, we received crowns of glory, we ascended to a spiritual height in which God's presence was going to walk amongst all of us without a temple. Each and every one of us would be like an environment of a temple. And then because of the golden calf that we did not protest and destroy it, Hashem said, I'm removing my divine presence. Moshe implored Hashem and davened 40 days, 40 nights, another 43 times on Sinai without food and water. And Klal Yisrael was engaged. They were grieving. They were mourning. And they were pleading with Hashem to accept their regret and their remorse. And then Hashem says, I will have my presence once again amongst them. But it'll be limited to the tabernacle and the temple. But they will see it, they will sense it. And Klal Yisrael, upon hearing this, they were invigorated. There was such excitement. There was madness of joy. And they were told to bring the donations and engage in the building and the construction of the tabernacle. And they did so. Moshe came down the third time on Yom Kippur. Right after Yom Kippur, they immediately began. And incredibly, they were able to finish the construction Hanukkah time. And they were told, but wait, even though you finished everything, it is not to be dedicated and erected until Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Klal Yisrael had to wait. Every day they're waiting and waiting. And now finally, it's the 8th day of this dedication, Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, you will see. It is not me, it is Aharon. Aharon, the holy Aharon, whose every thought was to serve Hashem. He will perform the service, which will be the means by which God's divine presence descends upon Klal Yisrael. And we will witness it. And Aaron engages in every activity. And he does so with total, thorough dedication to the will of Hashem. And he brings his offerings. He brings the offering, the sin offering for Klal Yisrael, the burnt offering of Klal Yisrael, the peace offerings of Klal Yisrael, the mincha, the flour offering of Klal Yisrael. Nothing happens. Then Aaron, as he is filled with joy, you can see it radiating from his face, his presence, and he bestows a blessing on Klal Yisrael from the depths of his heart, and nothing happens. And Klal Yisrael is waiting and waiting. And Aaron turns to Moshe and he says, Moshe, my humiliation, I have no words. It's clear to me that I am the one and the cause why Hashem's divine presence has not been revealed. And Moshe then goes with Aaron into the sanctum and they pray before Hashem and they come out and they bestow a blessing. And it says, Vayera kavod Hashem al kol ha'am. The glory of God was visible to all of Israel. A fire came out from the heavens and it came down and consumed all the offerings that were on the altar of sacrifice. The entire nation saw. They were filled with awe and joy and they sang unto Hashem. Question is, why was it necessary for Aaron to experience this public humiliation? If indeed Hashem was going to bring his divine presence and his glory for all to see, why did it have to come in this manner? And Aaron said to Moshe, Moshe, why did you bring me to such a situation? And we don't see that Moshe answered anything. Takes him inside and they pray and they daven. I would like to suggest that the sanctity of Aaron is revealed in this Parsha. He was the instrument. He is the prototype of the Kohen Gadol, whose every thought, every deed, every movement is devoted and dedicated exclusively to the service of Hashem, even to the extent that when his two sons die, Nadav and Avihu, Aaron is Vayidam, he's silent, and we see that Hashem speaks to Aaron with a unique prophecy, which can only come to a person if their heart is filled with joy. How could his heart be filled with joy when his two sons just died? The answer is because Aaron knew that everything Hashem does is absolutely good. And the only thought a person should have is what is pleasing to Hashem. This is the holy Aaron. How was Aaron able to achieve this? Hashem was preparing Aaron. Aaron, you have the tools to reach the plateau of sanctity which other human beings cannot achieve. That's why you have been chosen to be the Kohen Gadol, and your descendants will be the Kohanim. How did Aaron achieve this? When he was brought to a point of humiliation. No one likes to be humiliated. Public humiliation. We stand before one and all of Klal Yisrael, and Aaron is standing there as a failure. What happens to a person at that point? There's no one to turn to. All we could do is look within ourselves and say, I'm responsible. Hashem, I am thoroughly, totally, completely in your hands. There exists nothing else. Our dreams, our passions, our thoughts, everything falls to the wayside. Publicly humiliated, exposed, there's only man in his purest form with his creator. That's why Aaron was brought to that point in which Aaron at this moment felt a connection to Hashem. He wasn't questioning Moshe, why did you do this? But rather he was saying, Moshe Rabbeinu, you have brought me to this point. He didn't say Lama, why? Rashi doesn't say that. But he says, Moshe, this is what you've done, and I've been humiliated. Why? Because I understand that I need to reach the point in which my ego is non-existent. And it is me as a human being, as a living soul connected with Hashem. And that is the point I assume I was missing. And with that, Moshe takes Aaron and they daven to Hashem. And the glory of Hashem is revealed to Klal Yisrael. Sometimes we find ourselves in circumstances that are maybe not the most pleasing. not what we had hoped for, but everything that transpires is under the direction of Hashem, and there is purpose. And for man, our ultimate goal is to nullify the ego, put aside the I, and recognize that our true happiness and our purpose for existence is in attaching ourselves to our Creator. Then we will find the happiness. Then we will feel the achievement. Then we will open the portal for all eternity. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay Jewish. Have a wonderful Shabbos.